We are going. Can you all hear me? Okay. I've never done this with a mask before. It's interesting. So if you want to sit down, take a seat.
Or between the balloons is okay.
Yeah, you can also sit on the floor.
You can sit on the floor if you want to.
It's so hello and welcome everyone. Today we will have is the opening of the exhibition Celebrate Good Times, Come On. And this is a solo exhibition by the Danish artist Anders Reventlov. Okay, I had to try that.
Yeah.
And we're very proud and happy to have this exhibition, and especially what you have managed to achieve within the time that we had. Anders, we would like to start by giving you a little present.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
What does it say? To Anders from Galleri Rostrum.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Tack så mycket.
Yeah. It's something that you need to take care of.
Yes. Thank you.
Rather than the flowers that cannot survive, we wanted to give you something that could live on.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, there's more people coming. Welcome. So your practice originates in drawing and the human relationship to writing and script and visual expression, if I have understood it correctly.
Yes.
I'm just going to say a few things about the exhibition, and then I will give the word to you because I think you can talk about it much better than what I can.
Hopefully.
So it's called Celebrate. Yeah, Celebrate Good Times. Come on. Am I allowed to draw just because I enjoy it in a world that is burning? Maybe, maybe not. Here we're being presented with the impossible question: is there anything to celebrate anymore as the world is looking right now? On the brink of nuclear disaster again, and the forever present of Judgment Day. What is left, and how can we, you as a human, cope with the facts that we look into the black hole of extinction? Should we all party and have one last stiff grin until the end? Is there really anything to do? Should we all feel bad about being humans, or just enjoy what we have left as long as it lasts? Come on and join the party and figure out for yourself how you wish to use your time as a human being in a world that's burning. And this is a text that you has written.
Yes.
So I have not written this. And woohoo.
You wanted me to write it.
Yes. Did I force you?
You forced me.
Yeah.
You forced me to write it. That's the truth.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
But drawing is very essential to your practice. And I really would like to hear more about drawing as action and this exhibition and your thoughts behind it.
Yes.
So I'm giving the word to you, and also a big congratulations.
Thank you very much. Is it on? Yes, it is. Thank you very much for the presentation, and thank you very much for all of you being here. It's been a pleasure, and it's been nice to work with these balloons and this exhibition in this way. I haven't used colors in my artwork since 2014. So this is maybe kind of a new breaking point for me in a way of using colors. But the exhibition and all the questions that you was saying right now about the contrast maybe between can we celebrate, is there anything to celebrate anymore? It's kind of the things that I always asking myself when I work is, what am I doing? Can I do this? Why am I doing it? And is it allowed to do this? That is forever present question. And the more I do it, the more I, doubt in myself, and the more that people also question what I do. And there's also the interesting part is like when you, for example, are at a family party or a family dinner, what do? I draw. That's basically what you say. I draw. That's something when you're an artist, you get presented with that question all the time, and you kind of have to feel, I don't really feel like that anymore, but feel like you need to explain yourself in a way. But the essence for me of being a human being and how I see the force of human beings, and that all human beings have this force, is to create and to make something because we can. And I think we should never be ashamed of creating anything just because we can, because that is the good thing about what we can do, but it's also the bad thing, because people, for example, in this case, in this context, if any of you have seen the video that I'll show here, it's also really about, that's my daughter waving there, hello. She's happy, she wants to celebrate. She doesn't know anything about nuclear disaster yet, so that's good. But let me get back on track. Yeah, the film that are in there, with the nuclear disaster and everything, that is of course the ever presence, and also the reason that we can create. It's created on a also a creative level. The nuclear disaster is also from a creative level of human capability of creating anything, and so is this, and so is the drawings and everything. So there is this contrast between everything us humans do all the time, that we do something just because we can, but should we? Should we create the nuclear bomb just because we can? Should I fill this room with balloons just because I can? I think so, but it's always the questions and the contrast between this all the time, that we have to question our actions and have to question our thoughts. I think so. According to drawing and a drawing as action, we had a quite interesting talk just before this artist talk right now. So maybe we can start the questions if you want to give some questions now. Are we sharing the microphone? That's great. Yeah.
Now we will try to repeat the talk that we did. I can't actually remember. I asked about the drawing as action, and what actions do you want to create, and should these lead to other actions by other people? And does action also mean activate or activism? I'm thinking back into, okay, this question is, if it's I'm thinking also back to your background as a graffiti artist.
Yeah.
And we were talking a lot about signatures and writing and names.
Yeah. Well, creating something in a world where we, I teach a lot, and I have a lot of experiences. Then when I teach people, they often say, "Oh, I can't draw. I can't draw anything." They don't even know where to start. Then I often say, "But you can write your name. You have like a signature. You have like a gesture. You have like a written signature that you can write." And they say, "Yeah, but that's not drawing. That's just my name." And then I start to think, okay, but what is so bad about your name? It's you. It's your signifier. It's the thing that defines you as a person. It defines you in many cases. It defines you in a document. You need to put like a validation on any document with your signifier and your signature. And then they start to open up again about this. And then I think, okay, if all of us have the signature and have this gesture, then that's a good starting point on trying to create something. If we are like in an environment or in a society now, as I see it a lot, especially through my teaching, that a lot of people are afraid to create, and a lot of people are afraid to just do something because they can. Drawing, for instance, which I think that all people should do, and they don't need to exhibit, or they don't need to use it as a career way or anything. Just the thing about drawing is an extremely important thing of being a human being. I think so. And it's also really important for us as human beings to be aware of who we are and how we are in this world. And the more and more I look at it, and in the digitalization of the society, we are reduced to numbers. The thing I love the most about getting a new credit card was before that there was this white thing behind it on your credit card that you could sign it with your signature. I just loved that. I loved it so much because it was like, yeah, this is my card. It's fantastic. Now I can show it. It's valid. It's mine. But last time I received my newest credit card, there were no white line anymore. But there is a signature on my card. I found a really good alcohol-based marker because I insisted on doing that. Because I'm me and I'm a human being and I have the right to write on the back of my credit card still. I hope so. I didn't ask anybody, but the name line was gone. And I think that's a extremely horrible sign in this world that we are removing the name and identity of human beings and the ability and the significance of the signature and being able to write your name and insist on who you are, because it's not about being able, you talked about you were dyslexic, for example. It's not about being able to read that. It's about creating something that is your. We also, we had a great talk before where you said that there was this, you knew people who only could sign with an X. Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, but that X is their X. It's not just an X. They have a personalized X. And they will for sure make that X their way. And I just think the drawing and name writing as an action, to get back to the whole thing, is if you are aware of yourself, that is also according to being a graffiti artist and with that background that I have, graffiti comes from a place where it was young people who were told that they had no identity and they had no rights to express themselves. They had no possibilities to express themselves. But then they started to create their own identities and started to insist on they were valid in this world. And if that is removed in general from society, for example, when we look at the military, they are all numbers. All the soldiers are numbers. So if that is if that is a thing that is starting to move into our society when we talk about citizens, then I'm starting to get really afraid. So that is also a lot of what I'm thinking about with, for example, the titles with the work out there that I hope we are allowed to draw on paper in the future. And in drawing, I also mean writing, because I also think that writing, even though you maybe cannot look at it as a text, it's also like a gestural writing. And I really hope that we are allowed to be able to create our own identities and our own signatures in the future. Yeah, question. Yes, do it.
We can write in different ways because we can write on the computer.
Yes.
Stuff like that, so that's also writing.
Mhm.
But the way of using the hand to form,
Yeah.
that is the big difference.
Yes, totally.
Digital.
Yes.
But then have from the brain to the body, into the hand, and draw your own line.
Yeah.
Because the digital stuff is only the pixels.
Yes.
And the zeros and ones.
Yeah.
Because I also talk to kids, I teach kids as well.
Yeah.
And always want them to use their hands
Mhm.
in the act of creating, because it's kind of something else than to create just by pressing your fingers onto an iPad or just,
Yeah.
keyboard or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't remember my question.
It's okay. It's a comment. It's fine. You don't have to have a question. It's a comment. It's great. It's great. Yeah.
Because it's also muscle memory.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
And because what I can see, of course, the film is digital.
Mhm.
Probably.
Yes.
But here it's all made by hand.
Yeah.
And the balloons can't be digitally inflated. So you
No.
can also use your breath. The paintings on walls.
Yeah.
Why black and white?
I have worked with black and white since 2014 because of because of an exhibition that was made here in Malmö in 1976 in Malmö Kunsthal. That was an exhibition called Teckna, and that was an exhibition that was working with text as action and text as image and text in contemporary art to make the idea with this exhibition was that if you create artworks that use text handwriting and easily known expressions as text in contemporary work, in contemporary artwork, then you would open. The idea was then you would open up the artwork to a broader audience if you created something that we all knew from the public space, for example, or as a gestural signature and stuff like that. So it was a huge exhibition that was surrounding this whole idea of text as expression. And then they invited, I think, 200 artists to work with that theme. And mainly all of the work was black and white, because again, I don't want to generalize. When I think about text, I think about the expression in black and white. It's something direct. It's something always in a way relate to. It's something that, especially in a public space, you see just out here, you see all the commercials. They are like all fighting for attention and everything. But again, we all know when we see like a computer or like a book, it's black text on white. And when right now I actually don't have a marker in my pocket, I always have that. I always have a black marker in my pocket, and we always know it's orange, but it's just like I think the closest you can get to writing is the black and white. So that's why I want to continue to use that and see how can I work with the idea of text and the idea of drawing as writing as close to the idea of writing as possible. And I think that's black and white. I have made some experiments with gray tone sometimes, and being really. Sometimes I've even used some yellow, but more and more I go back and say no, it has to be black and white, because that also gives me a really limitation, but it also opens up a lot of possibilities, because there's so many different materials you can get in black. There's charcoal, there's Indian ink, there's water-based paint, there's oil paints. You can get all these things in black and white, and they all have different expressions. They all make different things, no matter how you use them in different materials. So I think it's an extremely interesting way of working, and it opens up much more possibilities working in black and white. So I think after I really made the decision of only black and white, the abilities of the experimentation have broadened it even further for me. I think it's yeah. Did I answer your question? I hope so. I love black and white. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. It's also that in text and in every language, you say written in black and white, and that means something. That's an expression that we use. That was just a comment.
That's great. Great. Any more questions? Yeah.
Talking about the black and white, I'm a little bit interested about your process behind them. Do you work intuitive? Exactly. Or do you plan them, or like when you do large wall drawings, what is your process before and after?
I enter the room and then I start, and then I stop when I'm finished. I have no plans before. I just go intuitive. Yes, but I draw a lot, and so it's like I make maybe 2 or 3 or 4 drawings minimum a day, always in my sketchbooks. And so this is just like the next drawing in my sketchbook, and I find them the drawings in my sketchbook is as important as these. I find the process of the sketchbook equally important as singular artworks that can stand for themselves, as I find these. It has the same value, totally the same value. So I think that's a way of working that I don't think it is a way of working that I have wanted to, because maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I really like first put up some pencil and afterward I traced it and was really like, but then I thought to myself, if I only do this because I'm insecure. So I want to fight that being insecure and just believe on the first stroke. And then I just have to work with the first stroke. So everything is a mistake, or nothing is a mistake. If you get my that's my work process. So it's first line, and then I fill it in. I mean, I make like first a big drawing with the Indian ink, and then afterwards I fill it in. In this case, I have not made works that looks like this before. And I'm super happy with them. I've thought a lot about that I want to make works that looks like this, and now they're here. So that's great. I didn't expect that they were going to be like this, but when I was finished, it was like, whoa! I've thought about these works for a long time, and now they're here. So I'm super happy for that. Yeah. So the process is pretty simple in a way, but it have taken me maybe 15 years to come here, so I can just do it. Yeah. Yes. One more question. We take you first. You were the first. You were first.
Like that, or yeah. What will happen with those fantastic pictures when you leave here? No, no, you must. It must be such a room like this somewhere. And you have such a balance between white and black. I am so impressed. Impressed. I'm. Thank you for this.
Thank you. And you want to?
Yeah, I just want, yeah, because when I watch the paintings, I see canvas. Why did you kind of not go on through the whole room? It's kind of more like canvases. You have stayed kind of within the lines. So, yeah.
I like amount, and that's because I'm from my graffiti background. I decided that I wanted to make like a three, because there were three walls, and then I wanted to put it like a piece. In graffiti context, you say piece. So this is a piece, this is a piece, and this is a piece. I was considering to painting all over the place, but then I thought it would lose like the meaning, because then it would just be like a tapestry. You wouldn't see it as three different works. And I would like that you could see the graphics and the balance, as you also described, and see them as three separate works. Because if you only paint it all over and also from top to ceiling and everywhere, it would just be like a tapestry, or like a tapete. You know, tapete. Yeah, is it tapestry? Yeah, wallpaper. Exactly, wallpaper. Yeah, it would just be like a wallpaper that wouldn't stand in my. I think so. That was my thoughts about it. It wouldn't stand as clear as something that I wanted you to look at. It would just be more like wallpaper. Yeah, it wouldn't have the same significance. I don't think so. Yeah, so that's why. Yeah, Julian. Thank you for coming.
I'm happy to be here. Good seeing you too. I'm just, I don't know, is this working? I came a little bit late, and I was thinking, well, where should I stand? And then I saw that some are touching the walls, like the art pieces, or your pieces that you painted. No, but, and then I think you, Anders, were also resting on the wall. Yeah. But my question is, like, I feel like it's very interesting, like we are kind of touching the pieces, or I don't know if maybe we're not allowed, maybe we are, but this thing about graffiti that you paint in a wall and it's still a wall, so it still functions as a wall, and then suddenly you're touching it. But I think it's very interesting that we are kind of part of this kind of interaction. It's not like we watch, we also kind of can use it somehow. So how do you feel about this? Like people just resting, or I don't know, maybe should we do it, or or maybe don't? And that's one question. And another question is, or not question, but just a comment. You said something about the colors, and you talked about the black and white. But I think it's very inspiring to see, or like this tension between the balloons and the black and white. like it's this, like they belong together, but they're kind of torn apart, or like this installation. I think it's fantastic how these tensions says something about this belonging to the art, or not, like color, not color, black and white that you were talking about. So, yeah.
I have not thought about it, but I think it's super interesting a point that we are leaning up against the walls and we are like comfy about it. Everybody is comfortable in this room. I think so. It seems like it, and I think it's a good sign that people are leaning against the walls, because I actually think it's a super positive way that we are not afraid of the artworks, and we don't treat the artworks as something that, oh, can I not be in here, and which I don't like. I don't like to come in a gallery where I feel like as an alien, which I have tried a lot. And you don't even want almost to talk to the gallerist, or they don't want to talk to you. You get that vibe. So I think it's a pretty good. I think I have done a good job that you have that you are leaning against the walls. I think it's super good, because then I think you feel like welcome and connected to the artwork. It's great. Thank you. It's perfect that you're leaning against it. Yes.
Well, I was just thinking, within the graffiti tradition, there is also this aspect of other graffiti artists painting on top of yours. And how would you feel about that if that was introduced into the gallery?
It's a good question. Well, I will answer it with an anecdote. When I was studying at the art academy many years ago, I one morning came into my studio at the school, and it was totally destroyed. People have painted all over my walls, and they have painted on my paintings, and they have painted on my floor, and they have painted. There have been a party at the school. It was not like people who were in graffiti that have done it. So it was not like a war thing that they. I think they have just had a good time, in a way, destroying my stuff. And my first reaction was super sad and angry, and then immediately I thought to myself, "This is what I do to other people." That was a good lesson. And then I thought to myself, if I get angry about this now, and if I make a case out of it on the school, then I have to quit what I have used 15 years of my life on right now. So I decided not to get angry. I just swiped the floor and said, okay, they have had a good time. And so have I many times. And I will continue to have good times. But it's also a place where it's pretty different, because it's complicated in a way. A lot of people think it's aggressive. If somebody come in here right now and have like an attitude and say, "Ah, I fucking hate your stuff," and then it's like aggressive, and then I will take it, of course, personally, because it will be personally, and that is also the thing that you get in graffiti context and the graffiti world, which is a horrible place to be. But I've been in it for 25 years. There's a lot of hate, and there's a lot of war, and there's a lot of beef inside the whole environment. But I have tried where people, they are doing something on your stuff, on my stuff, and it's not personal. It's just because they are happy and they don't think about it, and they want to, in a way, contribute, and they talk to me. Oh, can I do something here or something? In this case, I would say no, but I mean, it's also a dialogue, and it's also when, yeah, it's hard, it's complicated, it's super complicated. I would never paint a place where I, really know that people get super angry. That's after that experience, and that I talked about before. And yeah, it's another thing is that, for example, a lot of people think that when you go to a bar, and you go to a bar where there's a lot of graffiti on the toilets, that it's some place that, oh, this is not a good place or something, or, oh, a lot of graffiti writers have been angry at this bar or something. It's the contrary. I would never write on a bar's toilet that I didn't like. Never. I didn't want to use my time on it. I just finish my beer and leave. And that's how most graffiti writers are. You don't write and have, because graffiti is about fun. If you don't have fun, you don't write, you don't draw. So when I go to a bar and I go outside on the bar's toilet and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. This is a great place. So many people have had such a great time here. I want to be here. And sometimes you can also see, oh, this guy from Amsterdam have been here. Oh, this guy from New York have been here. Oh, it's such a nice place. So that's how I choose bars. I can say the same to you. It's always a good place if there's a good graffiti on the toilet. Yeah, it's made with love, basically. That's my comment on that. Yeah. Any more questions, or will you have a question? Or
Let's ask the audience if there's any more questions. Anna again.
No, I was just thinking of the graffiti work, and it's kind of the collectiveness in art is because it's also, you know, working with kids, and if they draw the same sketch, they get, I know you draw over my piece and my piece. So is there kind of a collective idea around graffiti more than in, you know, the more regular art form where the artist is kind of in focus and we are just exhibiting this artist?
if I understand your question, you want to know if in the graffiti environment is like kind of a collaborative idea. There is a lot, but that's a thing where you call it productions, and you meet in a group, and then you paint, for example, a wall for a whole afternoon, and you have a dialogue on the wall, and go back and forth and paint together. It's a huge part of it. The socialness of creating something is a huge part of it. Yeah, but it's pretty hard because all the egos are there, and everybody wants the name to be as visible as possible. But yeah. Yes.
But you can't answer this. How many hours have you worked with one such big painting?
For this exhibition?
Yes, just that one.
That one?
Yes.
I don't know. I was here from 10 till 7 in the morning, making the whole room, working nonstop, no breaks. Like 22 in the evening and then to 7 in the morning. Yeah, no sleep.
So much color. Big.
Yeah. It was pretty slow. I usually do it really fast, but the walls were super weird to paint on. Yeah, it sucked a lot of paint.
I don't know if there's time, but could you maybe talk about your video work in the other room and talk a bit about that, because we have not been around that.
Well, yeah, the whole exhibition, I have to say, is called "Celebrate Good Times Come On," and it's a lot of thoughts about as I also mentioned quickly, was about the evilness of being creative in human scale, and the video work in here is a comment on that. I have to be like the contrast where you see the whole disaster of what can happen in this world and what have already happened, because it's sadly what have happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's the video sections from that mixed with like educational videos from the 50s in the Cold War, where they made propaganda about how you should survive the nuclear bomb. And they said, of course, you can also hear them, you see the video, even a paper, like a paper can save you from a bad burn. And if you know anything about the nuclear bomb, that's a total lie. You know, that it's 100% propaganda, and seen in the lights of today, it's so bizarre that we all, you know, the hat. It's super bizarre to sit with the hat in there and see the video and see the things that are swinging around. You know, it's kind of a state of mind that I'm in all the time. That how the you know, should I just stand like this and don't know what to do, or because you feel so, or I feel a lot of what to do. You know, and that's the go back to the question of, am I allowed to draw in a world that is burning? You know, am I allowed to do that? A lot of people will say I'm not, because I'm just like this privileged person living in Scandinavia who doesn't have any more problems, and I can just draw and inflate 2,000 balloons and put it in a room. But I mean, I think it's okay for me to do it, but it's also the question: am I allowed to do it? Are we allowed to do it? Can we, with good consciousness and the awareness of that the nuclear disaster have happened, and it kind of seems that the world haven't changed, it's just repeating itself over and over again. And with the hat, I don't know if you've seen the video yet, but I would have loved to make the hats, actually, those hats, but I didn't have time to do it. That was actually the idea, that we could all go around like this in the room. That could be fun. Yeah, hula hoop. Yeah, that could be also cool. But yeah, did I answer your question? Hope so. Yeah.
I think you talk about drawing as a collective process and the power of drawing. I think you don't need a lot of materials. You can create power with something quite simple, and going back. It goes back, if you think about, we talked about the K drawings and how, like, I don't know if it's a question, but I think you're acknowledging something important here about drawing, and drawing as a communicative way of creating community, inside and outside. It doesn't have to be within the graffiti community. It could be with drawing with children, and how you draw collectively, and how you can also communicate through language barriers, I think, with drawing and visual imagery. So I think bringing that up when you say, am I allowed to do this? I think I just wanted to counterpoint that and say, I think it's really important for everyone to draw and learn how to draw. You can draw even with a stick on the sand. So even if you have no paper in the future, we can still continue to draw.
Even after the next nuclear disaster, we can still scratch in the ashes with a stick. I hope we do that. The one, maybe somebody survived, maybe we all get extinct, I don't know. But yeah, let's see what's going on. Hope not, but yeah. Story have told us that it will happen eventually, so let's party. Oh, let's don't. Yeah. Any more questions or comments? Is the last comments, or yeah? You are the moderator. Yes, it's from the Cool and the Gang song, and the whole idea for this exhibition, to be totally basic, it came to me in a dream. Yeah, basically, I dreamt it all, and it looks exactly like I imagined. Exactly, almost a bit boring, but exactly like I imagined it, because there was no surprise. I just did it. Yeah, but yeah, it's from the Cool and the Gang song. That's because I just hit me. I don't know. I have not heard that song, like, I mean, forever. It just I went to sleep and I was like, oh, this is a good song, and just gives me so much happiness, and it's so out of the world right now. And who will stand and dance like in the white shoes and just be happy and have a nice time, you know? And then I just saw this room for me, and it was perfect. Yeah, I'm glad you're all here.
So with that note, we will end the artist talk. Thank you, Anders, for being here and talking about your work, and celebrate. Come on, now everyone.